Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Eicher here, bringing at you a lesson on absolute value. Absolute value, something you've probably learned maybe since middle school, not sure. But we'll review absolute value as an operation, and then we'll solve some equations, some absolute value equations. So those are the main 2 points of today's lesson. So I think I'll make this in 2 videos. Remember, if you go onto Schoology on the week 1 folder, you'll find the 1-4 notes. So I'd encourage you to print those out or have those handy. If you can't print them, then at least have paper that you could take notes. Don't necessarily have to print them. But remember, on quizzes and tests, you can use your class notes. So if you print them, it might be a little easier to find stuff if you have any questions like that. But let's jump right in. The absolute value of a number is the distance from 0 on a number line. And the symbol we use for absolute value are 2 vertical lines. So for instance, you probably remember if you wanted to do the absolute value of -3, we would say the absolute value of -3 is 3. That's because absolute value is distance on a number line. So if we had a number line like so, here's 0. -3 is, say, right about here. So if we wanted to know the distance -3 is from 0, this distance, we would say is +3. And because of that, we'd say absolute value is always a positive real number, because we cannot have a negative distance. So that's the basic idea of absolute value. On this next section, we'll evaluate some absolute value expressions. It's important you notice the directions here. A is -5, B is 6, and C is 2.8. So let's look at the first one. The absolute value, oops, wrong one. The absolute value of -4 times B, which is 6. So to evaluate this, we'd have the absolute value of -24. So the absolute value of -24, how far is -24 from 0? Well, it's 24 units. So we'd have 24 is our answer. On assignments, on the homework that you upload, we ask that you show work. So you should at least show like either this step or this step, one of the two. Don't just write 24 as the answer. I want to see that you are showing work and communicating well. Number two is the opposite of the absolute value. Now notice, because of that opposite sign right there, whatever the answer is that we get for the absolute value is going to turn out to be negative because we have that sign on the outside. Sometimes students think that you should never get a negative value at the end after you've evaluated an absolute value expression, but you can get a negative answer if you have a negative on the outside of the absolute value bars. So I think I'm going to need more space, so I'm getting rid of that one for now. Oops. So we have C is 2.8. 2.8 minus A. A is -5. Careful of the negatives there. Absolute value. So this would be the opposite of 2.8 plus 5, which is 7.8. The absolute value of 7.8 is 7.8, but then at the end you have this negative. So our answer would be negative 7.8. So that's evaluating another absolute value expression. You can see right here and right here The circles indicate that there's a question on a Schoology assessment that covers this question, as well as this one. So if you'd like to end this video and try part of that Schoology assessment, you could do that. This should be the first one on the Schoology assessment if I built it right. This should be the second one. And you get multiple attempts to demonstrate that you understand how to evaluate these. You definitely want to be careful about this one and definitely want to show your work on that. That's the end of this video. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. I'd say subscribe to my channel, but you've probably already turned off this video. Have a great day. I'll see you next time in part 2 of the video.